This final training module will provide an overview of the evaluation of school counselors within the Connecticut Comprehensive School Counseling Framework. The CCSCF sets a foundation for school counselors to plan for their professional growth and the development of their individual service delivery. This module will begin with a focus on the observation of professional practice with an introduction to the Common Core of Teaching rubric for effective service delivery, also called the Student and Educator Support Specialists, or SESS rubric. How the evaluation and support system can be used as a vehicle for developing individual and program professional learning plans. Additionally, we will discuss developing effective student learning goals or objectives. For the purposes of this module, the phrase Student Learning Objectives, or SLOs, will be used. In addition to the SLOs, a review of how to build targeted indicators of academic growth and development, referred to as IAGDs, or SMART goals, that are identified in the CCSCF and the ASCA model. And finally, we will provide several resources from the State Department of Education. The components of the evaluation and support system are universal across districts. Peer or parent feedback and whole school student learning or student feedback are important aspects of the evaluation components. However, the focus for this module is on the observation of educator performance and practice, which represents 40% of the process, and the student growth and development component, which represents 45% of the process, in the Connecticut evaluation system and the alignment to the CCSCF. So why is school counseling evaluation important? Supporting great educators is key. An evaluation system is key to developing, supporting, and improving the effectiveness of our school counselors, as well as recognizing the outstanding performance of our most effective school counselors. School counselors have a profound influence on students and can change the course of a student's life. Research has shown that one of the most important school-based factors influencing a student's achievement is the quality of their support services and teachers. The educator's evaluation process is used to guide school counselors' professional growth and to help map a plan for professional learning. The educator evaluation process places adult learning at the center of the evaluation and development of school counselors for better student outcomes, provides school counselors with targeted, necessary, and relevant professional learning that aligns to the need, provides all school counselors with immediate high-quality feedback during observations that are more frequent and more valuable to the educators and their evaluators, fosters an ethos of collaboration and dialogue to support students, creates a safe school environment, and promotes the vision and mission of the CCSCF, student success and advocacy, and provides a system for documenting school counselor effectiveness using multiple data sources. The Connecticut evaluation system is aligned to the CCSCF and the ASCA model. The evaluation system promotes the academic, career, and the social-emotional behavioral development of every student. Also, there is a direct correlation to the overarching themes of the CCSCF and the ASCA model. The system advocates for equitable opportunities for every student by ensuring inclusion and access and using the CCSCF student standards to address needs. Moreover, this includes the beliefs school counselors hold about student achievement and success. School counselor mindsets are readily recognized through the behaviors demonstrated as a result of the implementation of the framework. Generates ownership for professional growth by using the professional standards. A school counselor can self-assess their development and formulate an appropriate professional development plan through the collaborative dialogue between the school counselor and the evaluator, and supports the identification of resources necessary to grow in practice and achieve the established targets for the year. The Connecticut evaluation system further supports the school counselor in assuming a leadership role as a systems change agent in the school and community to promote and support student success. Collaborating with other school professionals and caregivers to realize the success of all students. And utilizing data to promote student success and to create systemic change. School counselors' performance and practice are evaluated using the SESS rubric and the School Counselor Evidence Guide for Best Practices, which measures proficiency on the performance of the professional standards identified in the Define module in this training course. We've included the link here to review the Evidence Guide. The annual performance appraisal of school counselors should accurately reflect the unique professional training and practices of school counselors working within the framework. Most Connecticut school counselors are evaluated using the SESS rubric. The primary purpose of the evaluation system is to measure the school counselor's effectiveness, impact, and performance. Additionally, it should track school counselors' growth over time. The CSDE encourages districts to use the School Counselor Evidence Guide as a tool for professional development and growth, as well as guiding observations. This guide offers opportunities for valuable professional learning as educators work with one another to generate their own examples of evidence aligned to their respective rubric. Remember, the professional standards for school counselors play a key role with the SESS and help the observer have an accurate picture of the school counselor's role and responsibilities. Collecting objective evidence is essential in helping observers paint a fair and accurate picture of the school counselor's strengths and areas for development. The criteria in the SESS rubric focuses on the skills that can be observed in the delivery of service. The School Counselor Evidence Guide has been created as a resource for directors and administrators. The evidence guides are based on the core principles of Define. The Connecticut Evidence Guides are not intended to represent comprehensive evidence, nor are they intended to be used as a checklist or as a rubric. School counselors are bound by confidentiality due to the nature of the work. School counselors practice under the American School Counseling Association's ethical standards for school counselors as discussed in the Define module. Therefore, there are some situations that are considered inappropriate venues for observation, such as individual counseling sessions, small groups and phone calls, or meetings with parents, agencies, or mental health providers where confidential student issues are being discussed. It may also become necessary to terminate an observation session in the event highly confidential information is brought to the surface. Discussions with the evaluator regarding venues that are appropriate for observations should be reviewed in the goal-setting conference at the beginning of the year. Venues that are appropriate for observations may include the following: individual planning sessions, parent and/or student programs, developmental guidance lessons, planning and placement team or PPT meetings, 504 meetings, data team meetings, scientific research-based intervention or SRBI meetings, or other venues where the school counselor is collaborating with peers to improve student achievement. Next, we are discussing the SLOs for school counselors. We will focus on the SLO process and the development of indicators of academic growth and development. In this module, you will have a holistic view of the alignment between the Connecticut Evaluation System and the CCSCF. The student growth and development component accounts for 45% of the allocation of the evaluation. School counselors will work in conjunction with their evaluators to identify objectives for student learning and the corresponding measures of student performance to evaluate progress made towards those learning objectives. The SLO includes student standards related to the psychosocial attitudes or beliefs one has about oneself in relation to academic work, the behaviors commonly associated with being a successful student, and the competencies that are measurable expectations that students attain as they make progress towards the standards. There is a process for developing SLOs prior to your goal-setting conference. The school counselor will review student data, including prior progress. Then the counselor will use that information to set goals for student growth over time, monitor progress of the student, and evaluate the impact relative to the goals. This process aligns to the components of the CCSCF. When you are building out your SLO, it is important to align to the district and school improvement plans, as we mentioned earlier in Module 2. By accessing the materials your data teams may have and conducting needs assessments, the counselor is able to focus on data. Review of the quantitative and qualitative available data within your school, district, and community to understand what is going well and where there are opportunities for growth and improvement. When designing an SLO, school counselors should access a wide variety of data to understand school environment. Here are just a few examples of data that you can use: attendance, chronic absences, discipline, promotion, transition, IEP, post-secondary planning and career, extracurricular activities, graduation or promotion rate, dropout rates, high school AP course offerings and enrollment, pre- and post-assessment data, achievement data, access data, suspensions and expulsions, school crisis incidents, student relationships, behavior intervention plan data, bullying incidents. Data can be found at the school or district level. Additionally, counselors can find most of this data on EdSite. Remember to use trend data over time to give you a better picture and to disaggregate these data by subgroups, including grade level, special education designation, race and ethnic background, English learner status, and gender. There are several key components for developing a high-quality SLO, and we want you to think about how the elements of developing an SLO is reflective in the operational design of the CCSCF. Baseline trend data. Consider what data were reviewed to assist in establishing the student learning objective. Identifies sources of data about student performance. Summarizes student data to demonstrate specific student need. Student population. Consider who is included in this student learning objective. Why this target group or class is selected. Identifies the students to be included in this objective. Explains why this group of students was selected. Standards and learning content rationale. Consider which student standards are connected to the learning content. Identifies core ideas for which the baseline data has indicated a need. Aligns to specific applicable standards. One part of the SLO process is the Indicators of Academic Growth and Development. Indicators of Academic Growth and Development, or IAGDs, is the assessment or measure of progress with a specific evidence or quantitative target that will demonstrate whether the SLO was met. The IAGD is the same as the SMART goal in the ASCA model. Each IAGD should make clear the evidence that will be examined, the level of performance that is targeted, the proportion of students projected to achieve the targeted performance level, and the date the projected target will be met. In drafting an IAGD, school counselors can use a template to ensure the critical features of the IAGD are included in each version. Begin by identifying the direction you would like the data to go, as in either an increase or a decrease. Then identify the specific target audience, followed by the metric that will be tracked. State the expected outcome and by when. In this example, we see decrease, direction, first graders, group, incidence of office discipline referrals, ODR, data element, from 14% to 10%, outcome, by June 2022, date of outcome. The last element in the SLO is the instructional and service delivery strategies and supports. It identifies the key instructional approaches and strategies to be taken during instruction or service delivery, including how formative assessment will be used to guide instruction service delivery, and how to identify professional learning and/or supports needed to achieve the student learning objective. Let's take a few minutes to check our understanding.